So upon request from a subscriber, they wanted me to do a review on the Jigsaw movie, which is part of the Saw franchise. It's the one that came out back in 2017 before Saw 10. And I was like, sure, why not? Because, it just came back to Netflix, and although it's not my favorite of the Saw franchise, it's definitely a lot better than most of the movies. So like I said, Jigsaw came out back in 2017. That was 7 years after Saw the final chapter, but canonically this movie takes place 10 years after John Kramer's death. Wow, this franchise almost never ends, but somehow the games start back up again, and Jigsaw doing his usual thing with testing people. New games, new traps, new players, and of course with a little pinch of a new plot line. So, everything you probably expect to see in a Saw movie. I will say this, the traps in this movie were a lot simpler than the usual traps you see in a Saw movie. And the gore was actually dropped down a lot. But, when it comes to a Saw movie, when it comes to the traps in there, you've probably seen them, do everything when it comes to torture in some creative way. Maybe they lost some creativity there. That's why they had to go simple and not complex. Because you could probably think of some creative torture trap that you think would be in Saw, and some resemblance of it probably would be there. That's how Saw works. It's how it's been for almost 20 years. In 2004, that was when the first Saw movie came out. It was unique. It was new. That was something interesting. And then after that, everything was pretty much following that same storyline. But after 3, everything just became solid torture porn. The thing is that it always had a unique sense of mystery, of wanting to know what was coming next. Saw, now, this far, really has kind of lost that. One thing that kind of struck me, though, as odd when it came to this game was that somehow John Kramer went from just being smart to being psychic somehow. Because there's a moment where this guy tries to break the rules and his leg gets caught in a bunch of wire. And yet, somehow, he knew it was going to be that specific guy who got caught there. He just knew it was going to be him somehow. And then also, the next part was the fact that it's like, it's a penalty for, he has to lose a limb, for, breaking the rules. But somehow, he knew it was going to be this one guy. What if it was somebody else who got caught in that trap? What's the point? What happens next? Or what if somebody didn't go up there? So that was basically all that work of getting that set up for nothing. So, it's just weird. Because I know John Kramer's smart. He thinks 2 or 3 steps ahead, but he's not psychic. I will say there was one moment in the movie that really I could take my eyes off of, and it was the moment where John Kramer revealed himself. And what happens here is, it is a game, but it's not a trap like we see in all the other films. This one was actually a game, and I just couldn't take my eyes off it. And the thing is that it was such a simple game. I see there's a lot of beauty in simplicity, and this one was probably the simplest game I've ever seen in a Saw franchise, and it was probably the best game, one of the best games in the Saw franchise, in my opinion. It's just so simple, and just so intense what happens when you're watching it. You just can't take your eyes off it. But that was where it was peak intensity for me. Everything else was just simple feeling when it comes to Saw. Really the intensity doesn't come in a Saw movie until someone's in a trap, and then you're just wondering if this person's going to get out or not. That's pretty much it, though, when it comes to intensity in Saw. Other than that, everything else was pretty much, same guidelines when it comes to Saw. But, this is definitely one of the better Saw movies. That's why I'm going to give Jigsaw here a B. I would definitely say label it maybe top 4 when it comes to the Saw franchise. Alright, so Jigsaw, if you guys like to say any other additional thoughts that I didn't cover in this review, please comment them here down below. Also, if you like my other videos, please check out here more on my channel, and always remember to stay epic!